Murphy's Law. Shit happens. Chaos. That's what we're talking about today. Everyday KT number 254, chaos, and embracing it. So, as all of you who wear the kilt know, chaos is kind of a thing we have to deal with. You never know who's watching. You never know who's doing what. You never know where and when the wind is going to pick up. You never know what's going to happen. So you have to either embrace it, live your own life, do your thing, and just go with it, or fight it. Now, fighting the chaos does not work. There's a famous general, I don't know who said it, and I'm paraphrasing his quote, but it's something along the lines of this. The best military plans are amazing and perfect up until the first shot is fired, and then it goes to hell in a handbasket. Why is that? It's because life, no matter what you're talking about, is nothing but variables. Things change constantly. If you don't believe me, walk into a kindergarten room with one piece of candy. See what happens. It would be insanity. Chaos. Change, variables. Things that you cannot account for because you plainly don't know. You're walking into a situation you've planned as best as you can for the things that you know. It's the things that you don't know that will either bite you in the ass or, number two, and this is the important one, become an opportunity for you to flourish. So, embracing the chaos. Embracing the chaos. It's being nimble enough and agile enough to think on your feet and maybe not solve the problem, but not allow whatever this thing is that you didn't plan for from completely destroying everything you're doing. It's like a couple of weeks ago, the seminar I did on social media. The entire thing revolved around having available Wi-Fi for everyone. Now, being a university and being in the middle of a city, it never even dawned on me to think they wouldn't have public Wi-Fi, at least for the folks in the building. Never even came up. I didn't think about it. The folks I was working with to schedule the event didn't think about it. Nobody did. Guess what happens? 5 minutes before the presentation, there's 30-odd people in the room, and I'm sitting there, and I finally get someone to answer, and they're like, oh, we shut that off. Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will. So that's what we had to deal with. The chaos. So, because I had prepped for most alternatives, not having Wi-Fi wasn't one of them, but I was able to continue and do the seminar without publicly available Wi-Fi for all the students. And it worked. So that's the best example that I can give you from my personal experience on how to deal with the oh shit factor. Crap. It just went to hell in a handbasket. What do you do now? You can either collapse into a mushy ball of crying tears, wishing you could find a corner, or deal with it. Now, the best way to prepare for dealing with it is just doing whatever it is you're going to do constantly. You know, I've run into countless problems while shooting Everyday KT. Guess what? I can address just about anything that comes up. Short of my phone dying, then, well, no, I go get my tablet and start over. Just practice and experience. That's how you overcome chaos. Practice and experience. And you never actually overcome the chaos, you just adapt. You know, military, adapt and overcome. That's your job. And as an adult living, that's your job. Figure out how things work, do it, figure out when things go to hell in a handbasket, and be able to survive through that. That's how businesses succeed. That's called parenting every single day of every week of every month of every year. That's called most things in life these days. There is no more show up, go to work, do your job, go home, you're done, repeat every single day. It doesn't work that way anymore. So chaos, embrace it. Attempting to plan for everything and going completely batshit crazy when it doesn't work out according to plan is one of the single most self-destructive mentalities I've ever experienced in my life. So yes, plans are good. Yes, plans are necessary. And yes, plans will change midstream. You just have to accept that fact and plan for when the plan fails. At least a little bit. Planning for everything will make it boring because you can't actually do stuff if you plan for the plan for the plan. When the plan fails, and then plan some more. It just doesn't work that way. No, David, I have not. I don't like cats. So, with that, remember, chaos, it does happen. There's a reason it's called Murphy's Law. So just be ready for when it goes sideways, because invariably, whatever it is you're doing will. Somebody give me an everyday Kiltology so we can try to minimize the chaos, because if I keep rambling, God only knows what I'm going to say. Kiltology, Volume 1 and 2. It's over on Amazon. Or 1 through 507, and we'll see what you guys pick. Volume 1, here we go. And Chris, yeah, that's a scary one. So, to that end, and it happened again, applies directly. Hell in a handbasket. Things going crazy sideways. The unexpected jumps up and smacks you in the face. That's where everyday KT or Kiltology number 11 comes from. Contrary to popular belief, there are situations where undergarments should or must be worn with a kilt. Keep this in mind when kilting up. You don't want to spend any time in the lockup over your clothing decision. Now, that one simply has to do with the people that you happen to be with when you are out in your kilt. But it applies to everything. Keep in mind, if you're going fishing, deep sea fishing in the kilt, there will be more wind than you know what to do with. Going on natural, probably not a good idea. Last thing I checked, sea spray at 60 miles an hour is uncomfortable. Sledding in a kilt without undergarments, probably not in your best interest. Hang gliding in a kilt with no undergarments, also probably not recommended. There's a significant number of things you probably don't want to do without undergarments. I know that I discussed them in an earlier Everyday KT, one of the actual early ones, the first 100 or so. So go see if you can't find them, check it out. But remember, chaos. If it can go wrong, the odds are good that it will. And as long as you are at least willing to accept that fact, and you are willing to modify whatever it is you're doing to accommodate that chaos with the end goal still in sight, then you'll be just fine. And with that, I'll let you go. You guys have a good night. 2 more days of the week, then shenaniganizing this weekend. Be strong. Put a kilt on.